So let's say that you have the perfect pair of speakers. Let's say that you have it all, but yet something isn't quite right. You need a bit more treble. You need a bit more of that high-end extension. Let's say that your speakers are just perfect in the mid-range. The bass is perfect, but most of them just don't have that extra bit of sparkle that would make them extraordinary. Today we are reviewing something that helps with that. This is the Aperion Audio RST aluminum 3-inch ribbon super tweeter speaker MK2. It is priced at $649 US. This is one of the very few products from my review rooster that scares me. Just look at this. So beautiful, so tiny, and yet it would be so easy to scratch them and to damage them. This piano finish is typically the easiest to scratch and destroy, so I have to be extra careful with those ones. So far I managed to keep them scratch free, which is surprising given my track record of scratching almost everything. I even decided to leave the screen protection on when I'm beginning to review something, and yet I still managed to scratch some things. So yeah, I'm extra careful with this one. I don't even wear my necklaces. You probably know that I like wearing medallions and necklaces. Well, today I don't, because I don't want them scratching this speaker. And this is the speaker. It has a typical speaker input. It has a level at the back, which goes from 0 to -5 decibels. This manages how strong the effect is. And we have a crossover switch, which is between of 8 kHz, 10 kHz, 12 kHz, 14 kHz, and 16 kHz. I suspect that at 16 kHz, if you set the cutoff there, you won't hear anything, because our hearing just isn't that great as humans. But if you set it to off, and if you get the full width of the sound of the Aperion Audio Super Tweeters Mark II made from aluminum, you will hear a lot of extra treble. The $649 is a price for a pair. This is how a pair looks like, and those are designed for you to place them on top of your speakers. The wire goes from your speakers to them, and that is all. They work flawlessly. So then what could be the disadvantage of such a product? Well, there is none, at least as far as I could tell. I have placed them on my speakers on many pairs, including KLH Model 5, Bouchard S400, and HTC 3. I cannot do that with the CVS Prime Wireless Pro, because the CVS Prime Wireless Pro doesn't use a classical speaker connector, so I don't have how to connect the wires from the Aperion Audio Super Tweeters Mark II to the SVS Prime Wireless Pro. The main tech aspects of those are that they use a true ribbon design with an aluminum strip. They have a frequency response of up to 40 kHz, and you can order them with a special cable. The whole point of using this kind of product is to improve your overall listening experience, correct? Well, the point is that they totally outdo what you expect them to do. They add detail, they add a sense of brightness, a sense of air, and a sense of sharpness to any setup out there. It's incredible how much they can change the sound to the better. They are quite sensitive to noise, and if your amplifier is noisy or if your DAC is noisy, you will know that with the Aperion Super Tweeters Mark II made of aluminum. Basically, then it's not the speaker that is made of aluminum, it is the ribbon that is made of aluminum, and aluminum is a pretty lightweight material. So the driver moves very fast, but it is very easy to control it, being aluminum, being quite lightweight, and being a very hard material. So their drivers are quite ideal for a super tweeter. The first generation was made of a planar driver, and planar drivers tend to be a bit more aggressive, a bit harsher, and a bit more metallic. Compared to that, the new super tweeters are smoother, they have a better extension, all while not being one bit harsh, and I really like that one. They sound just like your speakers were more expensive. This is how I would treat the equation. They sound like your speakers had better refinement, better detail, better micro detail, and since they can extend up to 40 kHz, it means that basically you get harmonics in the audible range that will influence how every instrument sounds. They improve on the richness of every single instrument, they improve on how responsive your sound is and how snappy everything sounds like. It's like getting yourself a much better setup while paying just $649 for the pair of those super tweeters. I initially assumed that they would be quite hard to drive, and I initially assumed that I would need a special amplifier for them, but upon testing I was able to drive them even with entry-level amplifiers, so even if I was using just something minimal like the Fosse Audio V3, this is a very affordable, about $100 amplifier for stereo systems, and even this one is able to drive them. They don't really add too much of a load, they increase the impedance performance of the whole system, which is something positive. Usually amplifiers struggle with very low impedances, not with high impedances. So typically I would just plug in the DAC to the RCA input. I would plug the cables to the main speakers, and the cables that you use for those speakers use one of those horseshoe plug that you connect to your main speakers. So this one connects to the connector of the main speakers, assuming that they got in a banana from the amplifier, and then you get the banana connector that runs to the super tweeters. It is a very simple, very basic design. It works very easily. Like you just connect this and you're set to go. They are somewhat directional, so you have to have them pointed towards you, but the directionality is more strict on the horizontal plane than it is on the vertical plane. So basically, even if you don't sit at their level, they will still sound quite good vertically, but if horizontally you aren't at least in a cone of about 45 degrees from each one of them, they will sound quite bad. So the idea is that you have to imagine a cone of 45 degrees in the front of the super tweeter, and you have to be within that cone to hear the best of their ability. If you are not within that cone, chances are that you won't hear their effect. That shouldn't be a problem for most proper stereo system, but it is a problem when you use them as near field monitors and you are sitting very close to your computer and you move back and forward if you see something on your monitor, and then you need to readjust yourself so that you are within their area of effect. This being said, their technology is not the most directional technology out there, so you don't have to worry too much of it, but that is the area where you would get the best results, the best resolution, the best clarity, and the best overall sonic performance from these super tweeters. There is so little known about them, and the company doesn't really explain too much about the tech inside as much as they explain about the sound. And let me tell you, the sound is incredibly good. I don't even think that they needed to have an enclosure for this kind of ribbon tweeter. They could have just place the ribbon tweeter, and they do have a pair that does just that, where they don't use an enclosure at all. It's just the ribbon tweeter that you place on top of your speakers, and that is quite cool. The whole point of having those super tweeters is that most of the time, not just sometimes, most of the time, speaker creators don't include high quality tweeters in their speakers. They typically limit the resolution of those tweeters so that they don't become harsh or metallic, especially in high-end systems, and then the sound can be quite boring. I mean, you've just spent $5,000 on a system, or $10,000 or $50,000 on a system, and they lack that extra bit of crispness, that extra sharpness that you are typically expecting to hear, especially if you are used to headphones. And EMs always have a very good resolution. They always sound so clean, so open. They have good neutrality, while speakers tend to almost always sound kinda silky, and it kills a bit of the fun factor. For example, I tend to go for speakers that sound a bit more open, a bit brighter, and a bit sharp. And this is what the super tweeters do to them. They increase the sharpness, the precision, the snappiness, the clarity, the soundstage width, and the soundstage depth. Everything that is in music will be more clear. Those are the most sensitive product in all audio to the source quality. Just today, I had a somewhat big scandal with a DJ, and I don't even know what the DJ is supposed to do. A DJ in my mind would be someone who composes music, someone who creates music, but this man who explained to me that he was a DJ for 6 years has told me that we are holding an event, and he asked me to make a YouTube playlist. So his basic job is just to hit the play button. He doesn't do anything else. I make the playlist. It is on YouTube, which is the lowest resolution source possible, and he would just play at my event with my playlist, doing nothing else, just pressing play and allowing the music to play. And yeah, we had a bit of an argument because I just didn't want to believe that there are people who would get paid, and quite good in that order. He asked for the same price that those super tweeters cost. So this is the connection it has to this video. That is what he would ask to be paid to play music from YouTube videos, which is quite surprising, you know? I am not used to this level of, I don't know, it's just pure arrogance or entitlement, because if I would pay $650 for a service, I would expect at least that person to come with their playlist. I mean, it would be so simple to just use a high quality source, not YouTube. YouTube is the lowest quality source possible. And that is important for those super tweeters, because as much as I would like to tell you that they are perfect, their main cutoff point is at around 6 kilohertz, and they reach a peak at about 10 kilohertz. So if you are using highly compressed music, especially YouTube, if you are using MP3 files that have been badly compressed, if you are using a service that is badly compressed or Bluetooth in general, you won't get a big advantage from using them. They will bring in the best advantage if you are using Redbook FLACs, high resolution files and music that has information in those high-end areas. I am typically not a snob when it comes to high resolution files, but I believe that Redbook FLAC files are a baseline. You are a music lover at about this level. Redbook CD FLACs are okay. MP3 files at 320 kilobytes are still good. That still sounds quite good. But when you go to YouTube quality, which is 192 kilobytes, it tends to degrade a bit, especially for music and music videos. I mean, I know that you would love to hear my voice in a better resolution, but let's be honest, this is the best medium I can post my videos in. So yeah. For speakers like those, for the super tweeters from Aperion Audio, best use a high quality source that has all the data in the song. It is important. It is very important actually, because if there is no data to play, they cannot create that data. So yeah, the music collection will be important. But I assume if you are spending $650 on a super tweeter setup, you likely are using a very good source. Now those are perfect for any style of music. I saw them improve rock, metal, EDM, pop, jazz. I really love jazz with them because I can hear those finer cymbal crashes without them becoming fatiguing or harsh. I really love them with classical, especially in classical you hear much more detail and more richness in the mid-range because you get those second and third and fourth order harmonics that have those reflections that help you get a better timbre and a better texture of the original instrument. So very good pair of speakers, just very good. This accessory can totally change your life, your listening experience, and can make everything much better. I hope that my videos also make your day much better. I hope that you are having fun at Audiophile Heaven. Don't forget, I'm always here for you if you have questions. This is a product I will also be reviewing in full written review, likely posted before this video review, because after you finish this video I want you to have somewhere to read all the technical information, and I hope that I made your day a little bit brighter, just like those super tweeters do to your music. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we'll see each other really soon. Bye!